Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Conscious Health Podcast. I'm your host, TJ. I'm an author and a health coach. I've been helping people for about 5 years now. I've been helping people make wise health decisions. Lately, I've switched more from personal training to selling my books and just putting more information online for people to see because, of course, just about everything's moving digitally now. And I want to put out more helpful information for people to either to listen to and apply to their lives. And so today we're going to talk about natural ways to relieve anxiety and depression, because I think that's something that's very common in today's world for a multitude of reasons. Pick your reason, whether it's money, you're having issues with a spouse, family issues, whatever it is. There's many reasons, and I would love to go into the mentality of that first, of anxiety and depression, and then I want to go into actual things we can do in our daily lives. So first, let's talk about mentality. And I also want to throw out a disclaimer: none of this is supposed to take place of medications or anything a physician has told you. I want you to make sure that you're going to your doctor, whoever, to make the best informed decisions about people who have a medical license. But as someone who has also helped people, I would love to give out advice that can also help you on top of what you're already doing, that's planned out with your physician. And so let's talk about just different mentalities we can have. First off, when I'm anxious, when I'm stressed, I have to remind myself that it is not typically my life situations that are inherently causing me stress, but it's the way I'm thinking about them. Because I can think of just about every situation I've been through that seems inherently stressful, and I can realize that I'm the one that's usually creating the problem within my own mind. And so for me, anxiety is a little more prevalent in my life than maybe depression. I can't say I really get depressed very often, but anxiety is definitely very prevalent, as it naturally is in just about anyone's life. And for me, having a toddler, for example, can be very stressful. If the toddler doesn't want to go to sleep, the toddler doesn't want to eat, whatever that is, I start having thinking patterns such as, oh, I'm a bad parent and I haven't done XYZ, or maybe I'm a bad parent and I'm not able to comfort my child, or maybe my child doesn't like me. Whatever the thought is, you can put in anything in place of that. This is just an example. So you put in some type of thought pattern. I have some certain thought pattern, when in reality, this is easier said than done, but I can change that thought pattern. Instead of, oh, I'm not a good parent, or, oh, I'm doing something wrong, or whatever it is, I can change that thought pattern. I can have the awareness to see that thought, change it, and be like, oh, this is a learning opportunity. And we can do this with just about anything in our lives. We can take a second, take a few deep breaths, and realize that whatever we're going through is some type of learning opportunity, because we're all going to make mistakes. We're also going to be in a lot of situations where we're going to start inputting very stressful thoughts. I'm sure anyone listening or watching this can think of a time when they were really getting anxious, or really thinking about, oh, this is going to happen, that's going to happen, and none of the things that you thought of were going to happen, and the event actually maybe turns out better than you thought it would. Or maybe the event turns out okay, but regardless, it's not anywhere near as bad as you thought it was going to be. And I'm sure this happened many times to everyone who's viewing or hearing this right now. And so now you can think back to that event. You realize that it was mainly just your thoughts causing the stress, and those different hormones in your body, and not so much the actual event itself. Because when actually dangerous events, or events that really threaten our life, happen, we're hopefully usually good. We run, we fight, flee, whatever it's going to be. Our body's ready for it in that moment. But we can never actually know when those moments are going to happen. Our brain likes to try and calculate when those events are going to happen. And albeit this is a good survival technique, it doesn't always work. And it usually causes more stress, if anything. And so anyway, just a mentality switch is usually simple enough to help us in the long term to go ahead and relieve stress from our lives, because realizing that it's our thoughts that might be painting a certain picture of something that's not actually happening. It might be a reality to us, but it's not what's going on outside of what we would call us, our identity. And so hopefully that's something that helps you to realize that a lot of our stress, if not all of it, comes from our own thoughts, our own way that we're seeing reality, the way that we're painting our own lives. And so this is taking back our divine creatorship of life and getting rid of the victimhood mentality. So anyway, that is mentality I want to preface all this with. So now let's talk about actual physical things that we can go do to also help relieve anxiety, depression, and release some endorphins. So there's numerous studies out there talking about weightlifting or resistance training. and how it combats depression and anxiety. I'm not going to go over every single study that's out there. I'm going to have some studies in the link below. But weightlifting and resistance training has been shown to be very helpful. Whether it's in resistance training, that could be calisthenics, weightlifting, whatever it's going to be. Exercise in general is very helpful for relieving anxiety and depression because it releases natural endorphins. It also is something that, of course, is usually difficult for most of us. Usually, exercise is not the easiest thing, especially if we're not in that habit yet of consistently exercising, and we have to get ourselves up to go do it. And of course, it's hard in the moment, but once we get used to it, once we keep going, we start getting endorphins released because it is something difficult. But since we're doing it, we're pushing ourselves, we start to realize, oh, like, yes, life might be hard right now, but I'm doing something that's hard right now and I'm achieving it and I'm pushing myself. And that's a really big deal. And so just that alone can get us out of a depressive mindset, and it gets us our minds off of some whatever anxiety we're thinking of for that day. And so resistance training is just very helpful for that, getting our mind off of it, doing something difficult. If you start your morning off deadlifting 250 pounds, and that's pretty difficult, but you get through a 45-minute workout of working out your legs, doing deadlift, squats, lunges, whatever, then everything else in your day might actually seem like a piece of cake. And you go, oh, my life is actually pretty dang good. And so pushing yourself through hard things, motivating yourself, and just getting started. That's the biggest thing. You'll be tired and unmotivated, just simply getting started. Start to move, because we're all made to move. Just start doing it and you're going to feel a lot better. I can promise you that. There's never been a workout that I regretted, but there's plenty of workouts that I did not want to do that day. I was not feeling it and I felt better afterwards, even if it was just a little bit better. So release natural endorphins. It's great for us. Next thing is gratitude. So this kind of goes on the mentality portion that I was talking about earlier, but gratitude is a great way to just to get our minds off anxiety for a second. And I'm not saying repress your anxiety. I'm not saying hold it all down and choose to be grateful. Feel the emotions that you're having, because all the emotions you have are valid. You can still feel anxiety. Let it have a portion of your brain going on, but say, hey, for a second, I'm going to go focus on things I'm grateful for. And I've been practicing this a lot lately. Just as I have different things I'm stressing about, whether it's money, family, work, whatever it is, I go ahead and I take breaks throughout the day to be like, oh, I'm grateful I even exist right now. I'm grateful I have clean air to breathe. I'm grateful I have clean water. I'm grateful I have good food. I have a pantry full of food. I have good friends that help me, good family that help me, good coworkers, so on and so forth. And the same region in our brain that has anxiety, that's in charge of anxiety, and having those stressors being activated in our brains, it's the same region that would have gratitude happening. And so if we're being grateful, we're too busy being grateful to be anxious. And so gratitude is a great way to go ahead and stop being so embodying those negative constrictive emotions and start to embody gratitude, which is very positive, very expansive emotion. It's very freeing. We start to be grateful for things. We realize that we're just here. We're all existing as humans, and we can be grateful that we're even here. We're existence itself. Next thing is grounding. So grounding, putting your feet in the ground. This is something that took me a little longer to realize that there's actually any evidence behind it, but there actually is at least one or two studies out there that I've read that actually have evidence that grounding is actually really good for you. And it reduces chronic inflammation. It reduces even chronic pain, or it helps to reduce anyway. So mine are reduced completely, but it's a great way to connect to the earth for a little bit and to be able to connect yourself to our more primal nature, to be able to have our feet on some good soil and to be able to feel our earth again, feel Mother Earth. And it's very helpful in a lot of things. And now there's actually science to prove that and to show us that. So grounding is very helpful. I try and do that at least once a day for at least a few minutes. And that's really nice. So a good way to ground yourself of course, take a few deep breaths. Next, I'll talk about breathing. So I have a few videos on my YouTube channel about this already, but there's box breathing. There's just a simple, the physiological sigh, where you go ahead and you take a big deep breath, take a second little breath, and slowly let it out. So real quick, I'll do an example for you guys. So just that alone, that's probably the most accessible thing. And everything I'm talking about in this video or podcast that you could do. That's super accessible. You can do it at any time. You can even be discreet about it if you're just in a conversation and you're stressing out. You can do that. And so that's very accessible. Using our breath as an advantage is just very great to regulate our nervous system. The next, we also have Eating nutrient dense foods. So to me, this is very simple, but it's hard to practice sometimes. But realize that your gut, it makes serotonin, it makes dopamine, it makes all these good endorphins that your body needs. In order for it to make those, it needs the right building blocks, such as nutrient dense foods. It doesn't mean you can't ever eat junk food, can't ever eat a slice of pizza, but it does mean that make sure you're having fruits and vegetables and just good foods, nuts in your diet, so your body's able to make the right hormones and endorphins, so you actually feel good. You have the right chemicals within your gut to do that. And then lastly, cold plunging. I know it's been getting a lot bigger lately, and there's plenty of videos out there on social media about cold plunging, and it has a lot of benefits. I'm sure I have a YouTube short or reel or whatever about it somewhere. But benefits of cold plunging, there's many. I think one of the biggest ones, as far as anxiety and depression go, is that it releases endorphins. And just like weightlifting, it's difficult. It's hard. It's hard to just begin. It's hard to get in that. It's really cold. It's really shocking. But once you get in there and you push yourself through it, even just for a few minutes, you get out of that, you feel a lot better. And so anyway, so those are just some things that you can do naturally to relieve anxiety, depression. Again, I'm not saying get off your meds and do just these, but these can be a helping aid and to help you to be able to reset your nervous system, to be able to reset your mind, to focus more on the positive instead of the negative, and just feel overall better. Cool. So if you guys like this, go ahead and check out the rest of my videos on my YouTube channel or the rest of the podcasts I have on the Conscious Health Podcast. There's a lot of good stuff. I put it out there for free. And of course, if you want to learn more, I got a few books available, so you can check those out. One of those books is How to Maximize Muscle Mass and Testosterone, and it's in the link below with a link, so you can go check out on Amazon. You can get a free little sample of it as an ebook via Kindle, and you can go ahead and start reading if you want. All right, guys, have a great one. We'll see you.